let's start with the NFL. All right. Big trade today. And I guess you could say we've seen the breadcrumbs for this trade for the last few years and all the issues with Stefon Diggs and Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. And now today, finally, it's official. Stefon Diggs is traded to the Houston Texans for a second-round pick next year. And along with Diggs, the Bills also send a fifth-round pick and a sixth-round pick, future picks, to the Houston Texans. So, Rob, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, we saw this coming a mile away. Not shocking at all. If you go back to when he was excused that day at, off-season workouts or whatever, you remember that whole controversy there, and it was a big deal, and then the next day it wasn't a big deal. You remember that by the Bills coach? That said a lot right there when that circumstance happened. And then we saw them go on a run last year, the last 5 or 6 games, Chris. He was nowhere to be found. He was Waldo. Where was he?
He averaged about 40 yards a game receiving.
He was a non-existent. And maybe it was there, Chris, that they either said that they've had enough or that they decide. And then don't forget, he missed a big catch, right? He missed a big catch in the playoff game.
Yep.
That was it.
Absolutely. Tough catch, but he should have caught it.
A receiver of his ability should have caught that ball, right?
Yep.
That's all. I'm not saying he missed a ground ball through his legs, but a receiver of his ability, you would expect to catch that. And it didn't happen, so maybe they just decided, okay, when you're putting up big numbers and you're a big-time player, Chris, you put up with stuff. When those production numbers go down and you're not making a big play, it's easy to part with somebody. And even though they're going to take a tremendous cap hit, right, of dead money, I should say, right?
$31 million, the most ever for a wide receiver.
That's a big number, and they're ready to do that. Tells you they wanted him out of Dodge. I mean,
well, Rob,
were you shocked?
Yes, I was. Everything you said, obviously there was stuff going on, but there had been stuff going on, and they had not traded him. And what I was more shocked, here's why I was shocked. One, they don't have a replacement. They also lost their number 2 receiver, Gabe Davis. You got Khalil Shakir. I don't know if he's a number 1. I doubt it, but he's a good receiver. I like him a lot. But, this is a deep draft for receivers, so obviously they're going to go get a receiver in the draft. Or there's talk that maybe they'll trade for Brandon Ayuk, Rob, which I would like that. But I was shocked because they right now at least don't have a replacement. And 2, because they only got, and I get, a second-round pick is nothing to sneeze at. But, Rob, they only got a second-round pick, and they left that much dead cap money on. They could have kept him this year and then let him go next offseason with no dead cap hit. And so that shows you they just wanted him out of the building, it seems like. But, Rob, here's the real gist of this boils down to this. And this is what I want to ask you about, and I've got my views. I can go first if you want. 2 questions. 1, are the Bills still Super Bowl contenders? And 2, is Josh Allen headed for a decline without his top receiver? Remember, and I get it, it was only his second year, but Josh Allen really exploded when Stefon Diggs got there. So what are your thoughts on that? You want me to go first, or you got thoughts you want to get off your chest on that?
No, you can go first.
Well, I do think, Rob, right now, the Bills are no longer Super Bowl contenders. Now, they are playoff contenders. I actually think they've got a very good chance of still reaching the playoffs. They could win their division. Could. I think the Jets will have something to say about that if they stay healthy, and we'll get into that in another segment. But I think they've definitely taken a step back. Rob, they lost 6 of their 8 captains from a year ago. They only have Josh Allen and Von Miller, who we know is old and past his prime. Those are their only 2 remaining captains. So that, I think they take a step back, but I do think they still are a top flight playoff contender, but not a legitimate I don't think they can get to the Super Bowl in the AFC. I think their defense, where they've lost Jordan Poyer and Trey White and some other good players, I think that defense will be strong again because that's what Sean McDermott, the head coach, knows. Last year, they had a lot of injuries. Trey Wright's been out for a while. Matt Milano got injured, who's a very good linebacker. And they kept chugging, and they were a top 5 or 6 defense in the league. So I think the defense will be fine. The offense, Rob, I don't think Josh Allen is going to take a step back. I think he's going to put up great individual numbers along with a lot of turnovers like he has always. But I think he's still going to play great individually, but I don't think the team will be as good. And I'm looking at their personnel, and Rob, I think you're going to see a lot of 2 tight end sets with Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. I think they're going to run the ball more. James Cook, I think they should go out and get another back, maybe a J.K. Dobbins. He's still out there. And I think Josh Allen is going to run it. That's what led to them winning their last 5 games of the regular season. And that's where Stefon Diggs was kind of marginalized during that stretch, and they still were winning. So I think it looks like they're saying, hey, this worked for us. Let's lean into it and play to the elements that are in Buffalo. When you play in that type of weather, cold weather, snow during the playoffs, if you host the game, you should be a running team. You should be a tough team. You should be a hard-nosed crew. And they haven't been, and maybe they're leaning more into that. The danger there, Rob, and I'm wrapping this up, the danger is if Josh Allen running more, are you setting him up to be Cam Newton? By that, I mean, obviously Cam was great, but by that, I mean, are you setting him up to take more hits, more shots? He's big. He's not going to be protected like Lamar Jackson or some of these smaller quarterbacks. So are you setting him up to take some big shots and deliver some big shots? But at the end of the day, that will take a physical toll on him. And are you shortening his career? So that's where I think the Bills will be. I think they're going to still have a good chance to win that division and make the playoffs. But I don't think they're a legitimate Super Bowl contender anymore.
Not only are they not a legitimate Super Bowl contender, but the Buffalo Bills have done it again. They've missed another field goal wide right. They've thrown in the white towel. They've choked on a chicken wing bone. They are dead to the AFC East, and they have just handed over the AFC division title to the New York Jets. Mark it down. Remember, put it in your memory. And Alex, Rob G, mark this tape when they don't win the division and when they don't make the playoffs.
No. When the Jets win the division. That's really
I said when. Okay, but I'm talking about when they don't. And I'm just saying, I don't know where they're going here. A team that 3 years ago was 13 seconds away from going to the Super Bowl to where they are now, to me, seems like they're going backwards, Chris. And I get it.
I don't think there's any doubt.
I get it. You got to make changes. You can't keep the same team in the NFL year after year. So I get that. But I'm not going to sit here. Even the general manager said, are we better today than we were yesterday? No, we're not. Of course they're not. I mean, even he can't even fudge that. He can't fudge it, Chris. He going to sit there at a press conference and say he's better when he got draft picks. He don't even know who the players are. He can't say that.
Right.
So all I'm saying is the Buffalo Bills are dead to the AFC East. Remember that. They are dead. D-E-A-D.
All right. Good spelling skills, right?
Thank you.
Were you in the
You know I went to Columbia. What's that?
Why you always forget the first place you went?
Oh, Southern Connecticut?
You never,
I went there too.
Technical Institute of Agriculture.
No.
Were you? I was in the spelling bees when I was a kid. I mean, not like national ones, but we did them in school. I used to love them.
You know what's
and
crazy?
I was a top speller.
Is I was criticized for not doing it, Chris, and I would get 100 on my spelling test every week, and the teacher put me in to be on the spelling, to do it for the school. You get up on stage and all that, the spelling bee.
Well, it was just students in your school.
Yeah, and I refused to do it, and she
Why?
Why? She said, I don't understand. You're an excellent speller, whatever. I said, if you give me 10 words on Monday and ask me to spell 10 words on Friday, I can do it. But I'm not a speller. Like, stand up, you throw me a word. Do you know what I mean, Chris? If I do my homework and study the words, I can spell them. But I know I'm not a speller like on the moment. Yeah.
So even if you knew how to spell them, you just think that venue would kind of throw you off.
Yeah, I don't think I'm like a superb speller. Some people, no matter what word you throw at them, have a good idea. I'm good.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
I didn't want to do it.
All right.